In the last 30 days, I've read over 47 volumes over 10 different romance series. Some comedy, some drama. One had a surprising amount of action. I'm talking shonen level of power. And today I'm going to go through them all and talk about basically what I liked about them. No spoilers as always. And I'm going to start off with the series that were mostly romance focused, starting with Sweat and Soap. It's a sweet seinen romance about a woman who sweats too much and a dude that uses her scent as inspiration to make and sell soap and body fragrances. And every couple of chapters, they rush home and have mad sex. It lures you into that, nah, that's cute sense of security, then shows you a couple of panels of them going at it in bed. It's raunchy at times, but not as often as I'm making it out to be. And it's mostly a chilled romance. Both work at the same company. Asuko is cute and untouched, so she's new to the whole relationship thing. And Kaotaro is sweet and treats her with care. He's a little too hands-on at times, but I guess that's what makes it kind of exciting. I'm only 2 volumes deep, so no toxic arguments or anything like that, or unacceptable behavior other than the needless touching all the time. And then I read 2 volumes of Ima Koi. I've already spoken about this one, a cute little high school shoujo. Very sweet and wholesome. Volume 2 introduces us to Yagyu's sister, who has a big brother complex, which is just as tiresome as the little sister complex with guys. I'm guessing she was introduced as a rival, but because it's siblings, her dialogue just seems really, really cringy. But then that's just my opinion. Hopefully she's absent in volume 3, but I'll be looking to pick up that soon. And then I read a Yuri Josei. This is Even Though We're Adults. Ayano and Akari up at a bar one evening, and the twist is that Ayano is married. When Akari finds out, this causes a lot of drama and complications, as you can imagine. Families get involved, friends. Akari contemplates her life choices and stresses out a lot. They're both still in contact with each other, so there's that whole will they won't they kind of thing, which is quite interesting. I'm not normally one for drama, but this is a train wreck that I just can't look away from. I'm seeing it in slow motion and I want to see how it ends. And then we have A Sign of Affection. This is another healthy relationship. Yuki is deaf and Itsuomi does everything he can to learn more about sign language so he can communicate with Yuki. His actions are so endearing, taking extra caution when talking and just being around Yuki. What I really like about this one is when people are talking directly to Yuki face to face, the text is faded grey. So if you ever see black text, you know Yuki doesn't hear this part of the conversation. And a lot more detail has gone into the sign language. There's little notes in between chapters about how they express themselves. And it was a really good reading experience. Not many manga that I read give me more than just the story. So much thought was put into it. And then I read My Love Mix-Up. This is a comedy series that is based around romance. We have Aoki, who likes Hashimoto, then Hashimoto likes Ida, and Aoki borrows a rubber, or an eraser if you're from America, and then it's dropped for Ida to pick up, and he notices that his name is written on it, so he thinks that Aoki likes him. So it's kind of like a love triangle, except one of the arrows is going the wrong way around. And in typical Japanese high school fashion, there's no communication, which would clear everything up, but then we wouldn't have a story. The boys spend more time with each other, getting a little bit closer. There's a few other twists that keep it more interesting, but at the moment I can't tell where the love interest is going to go. I've not read any BL before, and this is probably quite light on the BL side. I'm only 3 volumes deep, but it might get a little bit more intense. Also, Aoki's facial expressions are very, very good. And then lastly, for the romance, I read Nisekoi, 25 volumes. This is a shonen harem series. The premise is the main guy, Raku, has this locked pendant, and a girl who he promised to marry 10 years ago has the key to open it. In the first chapter, he gets a fake girlfriend, so both their gangster families will stop fighting each other, and this has to last 3 years. He also has an actual love interest that he's not actively pursuing, and obviously a plethora of other girls come his way, all with different personalities but the same desire to be with the main lead. For me, the first 8 chapters were really interesting, and it added a lot of layers to the locked pendant with every new girl that was introduced, so you never knew who had the key. But I'd say from around volumes 8 to 22, it started to get a little bit stale. There was no development. When you go from interesting story like who's the girl to, oh, maybe she'll make her advances, oh, I guess she chickened out again for the 10th time, it starts to get a little bit repetitive. I can understand Raku being a little bit blind to love at the age of 14, but after 3 years you'd think he'd get the hint, or at least make some sort of move. I would say though that the last 3 volumes were quite interesting. They wrapped up everything quite nicely, and I never really knew who was going to be the main girl at the end. Definitely could have been compressed to, I'd say, 10 volumes, maybe even less, but to have more than 11, 12 volumes of just no development and just standard slice of life. I don't know. Maybe this wasn't the series to do it. I don't know. Maybe that's just how harem series go, but yeah, it wasn't for me. It was just alright. And then I had a few series that were not so heavily focused on romance, but they are josei and shoujo series. Starting with Rosen Blood. Stella finds herself working as a maid in a mansion housing 4 young men who are clearly vampires. She naturally finds out, but there's a mystery to the residents. Even as the reader, you know vampires need blood. But they don't drink from Stella. It's pretty interesting to find out their motives and how they keep themselves alive. There is a lot of touching and, dare I say, groping from the 4 men as they all fawn over her. But you're never really too sure which ones are the nice guys and which ones are the not so nice guys. I think the series finishes in 5 volumes, so I'm very looking forward to the next 2 volumes that come out. And then I've not quite finished this one, which is Paradise Kiss by the same manga who did Nana. This is a 5-in-1. I'm around halfway through. I think I'm around just over 20 chapters in. It's a josei series following Yukari as she struggles to find her place in life. School's not going so great. She doesn't have a lot of friends that she can confine herself in, but she's soon scouted by a group of art school kids who want her as a model for their fashion show. Plus, the group dress and act completely different to other people in her life. So it's a little bit of new and unfamiliar territory. It's kind of a slice of life coming of age drama series. The romance doesn't come into play for a while, but it's very story focused, with mostly it being around the whole fashion and finding out clothes for her and resources and fabrics and that kind of thing. I'm looking forward to Yukari coming out of her shell, and hopefully towards the end she'll be a better person and kind of know where she wants to go in life. It's never the easiest thing when you're young. And then finally, probably my favorite read out of all of them is QQ Sweeper. I instantly knew I would enjoy this one. It's about a boy, Kyutaro, and he is a part of the cleaner committee at school, and Fumi becomes his apprentice. He teaches her how to clean properly, going through tools, products, and techniques. There was one panel where I knew instantly I was going to love this one, where he goes through this technique of folding cleaning cloth, which I do myself, and it kind of made me smile. I don't know, maybe just because I enjoy cleaning, it's kind of therapeutic. It kind of speaks to my heart, this one. Anyways, Kyutaro is really hands-on with Fumi. He's always squishing her face, up in her personal space, and shouting at her all the time. You can see the beginning of a relationship forming, but Fumi's goal is to find her Prince Charming, and Kyutaro is not it. Well, not at the moment, but I'm sure they'll get together at some point down the line. So I was already sold on the cleaning, but what made it interesting is that Kyutaro doesn't only clean windows and floors, he also cleans the negative emotions in people's hearts. There's another space they can visit that allows them to cleanse people of negative energy, which feeds and gives birth to these dark, shadowy, bug-like creatures. And more bugs means more negativity in the world. And it's in these moments that it feels similar to a shonen series fighting off against evil. It's really surprising how dark and deep the story goes outside of just cleaning floors. I've watched a lot of shoujo, more so than I have read, and none of them are quite as action-packed as a QQ Sweeper and Queen's Quality. Now, I'm only up to volume 2 of Queen's Quality, but I think only with just the first 5 volumes, I can see this is probably going to be one of my favorite reads of this year, and I'm just looking forward to Fumi becoming one of the greatest sweepers of all time. There are so many ways to tell a story, and just because a narrative isn't targeted towards your preferred demographic doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be bad and you won't enjoy it. The art in shoujo and josei is very well drawn. Girls are normally often drawn slim and delicate. There's a lot of like shimmering and glittering screen tones that are used, especially in like the intimate moments or when the love interest comes through the door. And to be honest, I can't really say anything negative about it, especially these series that I've read. I know a couple are seinen and shonen, but honestly I can't really tell the difference between the story narrative. It's just, I don't know, maybe sometimes the shoujo manga feels a little bit, I don't know, fluffy, is that the right word? I don't know, they're meant to make you feel a certain way, and I think they've delivered. I was happy, excited, and in terms of QQ Sweeper, I even got hyped in certain moments. Consider me sold on shoujo, and thanks to the people that recommended me even more shoujo in the Shojo Manga haul video that I recently did. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.